Hi, everyone. Welcome to Career Conversations. I'm Meera Jogasundram, and I am delighted to have with us today our guest, Dr. Shikha Bhattacharya. As the founder and executive director of reTHink Inc., Dr. Bhattacharya leads a grassroots nonprofit organization dedicated to empowering individuals to embrace cleaner and healthier lifestyles. Under her leadership, reThink has established a zero waste store offering eco friendly alternatives to everyday products, a pioneering plastic upcycling workspace repurposing waste into valuable resources, and four vibrant community gardens, cultivating both sustenance and solidarity. Hi, Shika.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you. So good
Thank
to
you so
be here.
much for joining us today.
Absolutely. Thank
How are
you.
you feeling?
Feeling great.
How was work today?
I've been just working away on my laptop. It was great. Got a
Okay,
lot done.
I will get straight to the point, Shika. Tell us about your amazing career journey.
Yeah, I did my pharmacy, undergrad in pharmacy from India. I've been all over the place because I like to explore. I want to learn everything. So I did my master's in biochemical engineering when my classmates were doing their master's in pharmacy. I was like, I want to learn, do something different. And then I taught in a pharmacy school in India for a little bit before I came to the US for my PhD. And again, I didn't want to pursue my PhD in pharmaceutics. For some reason, it just wasn't me. So my PhD was in biomedical studies. And as I was working on my PhD, which basically was a lot of genetic engineering, biomedical studies, biotechnology, for some reason, as exciting as it was, I felt like it wasn't for me, or I wasn't really enjoying it. I'm more of a naturalist, holistic. So as I was doing my PhD, I was also learning more about myself, that it's not as fascinating biotechnology is. I really don't like us to tamper with nature that much. I feel like we are messing with it too much in the name of making medicines, pharmaceuticals, or and at the same time we are ignoring the basics of nutrition, basics of healing, the basics of medicine. So I finished my PhD, but I never went back to do my postdoc or teaching or anything. I just started working as a pharmacist, which I am a pharmacist. I've done retail, I did hospital, but somewhere within me there was a void, and there was a feeling of not doing something. I mean, I have a good job, I have family, I have everything, but just a void. So when we moved to Indiana from Ohio for my husband's job, I wasn't working for a while. I was like, I'll just stay home and see, just take care of my children and see how it goes. And I went through a period of really brainstorming. What is it that I want to do in my life? What is it that I like to do? I clearly didn't want to stay at home, just be a homemaker. And after a lot of thinking about it, I'm like, okay, I'm really passionate about planet conservation, gardening. So I did I think it was a 1 week, 2 week program at University of Chicago about sustainability. And when I did that, I was like, okay, that's it. This is what I love to do. I don't care if I make money or not. This is what I'm doing. So I started my nonprofit organization. And through that organization, I've been able to do any wild idea I have, I'm like, okay, our city has empty lots. Why don't we put gardens in there? Kids are hungry. Why are we not teaching them gardening? They can grow their food. Oh, we have so much waste. Why can't we upcycle some plastic? Oh, so people don't know what to do without plastic. So why don't have a store where they can buy plastic free merchandise? So it's been really amazing that I've been able to pursue all my wild ideas, everything but money. So it's not my career, it's not my job, which makes it all better that it's my passion. It's my hobby. Sustainability is not my career, it's my hobby. It's who I am. And then I work as a pharmacist, so I've had a lot of struggle between combining my pharmacy and the sustainability, because I want to integrate. I don't want to feel like I'm living two different lives, one of the pharmacist and one of the environmental activist. So I've been doing a lot of brainstorming and lot of reading and all that. And then I always knew there's a connection between the health of the environment and our health, right? So if our environment is dirty and polluted, if we are breathing bad air, drinking bad water, there's no way we can be healthy. So even though it was so obvious and I always did it, it has taken a while for me to come up with career term, which is health and sustainability coach. So this is what I think of myself as an educator, a speaker, whatever I do, I try to convince people that it's not about the planet. The planet doesn't need us. We need the planet. We need air. We need water. We need clean food. So don't worry about saving the earth. It's really, we really can't and shouldn't do that. It's about saving us. So going back to your question of career, I guess all of my experiences in my pharmacy, health, human health has always been my passion, environment has always been, and now finally I'm able to say that I feel comfortable and I don't feel like I'm living two lives.
Okay, fascinating. Now, you said something very interesting. It's not about the planet, right?
Yeah.
That's a bit, and you are the executive director of reThink Inc., which is all about zero waste and, saving the planet. So, I mean, how do you reconcile both these things that you're doing?
Yeah, yeah. So re- there is no reconciliation. So we just have to realize, I feel that we are very, when we are ignorant, when we are very self centered, we talk like, okay, I'm doing a favor to the environment. I'm saving the environment. It feels very arrogant for us to say that, because we are actually destroying the environment. And
Absolutely.
whatever we do, just by being there, just by us being there, especially in modern times, all the technology, all the ways that we live our lives, so we really do not have to worry about saving the environment. It's really not. We have, whatever we do, especially at this point, like 100 years ago, maybe, now whatever we do is about saving human beings. So I'll give you an example. You might have come across that human life expectancy has started to go down. The global, statistically, in the United States, last 3 or 4 years, the life expectancy has been going down. So it's the opposite of what we want to see, or what you would expect with all the advancements. The cancer rate is rising. There is more and more mental illness. There are more and more gut health issues, autoimmune disorders, right? So if you consider the quality of life and overall the health of human beings, it's been declining globally. And what we do now in terms of reducing pollution, to clean up our water, to clean up our air, to clean up our food, our indoor environment, is to help people, especially our children. So, statistically, children are suffering more and more. They have more asthma now, they have more food allergies and sensitivities now, they have more cancer rates now than ever. So, we have to do it by fixing our environment, but the environment doesn't need us, the planet doesn't need us. Planet would be happy if we were all gone. It's at this point, it's about saving our own, you know, even extinction could not be too far. I don't know how many 100 years. So whatever we do now is about saving human beings, is how I feel.
That is a fascinating perspective. Now, I'd love to know, and I'm sure our viewers would love to know as well, what motivated you to create reThink Inc. and how did you go about creating it?
Yeah. So a lot of personal my life, that I had moved to a town, very small conservative town. I didn't have work permit. We moved here for my husband's job. I have two young children, and I never imagined myself living at home. So I can't work my pharmacy job, and I'm just sad, depressed. I don't have family here. I don't have anyone here. And I was literally crying all the time. I'm like, what am I doing here? So I started asking myself, and literally one day I said, I've been very ambitious all my life. My dad raised me to be, oh, you have to do this, you have to do that. And all I ever did was thinking about that. Okay, I want to be a scientist, I want to do this, I want to do that. But then after doing everything I could, I'm at a point in my life that I have two young children, no job because I can't work, I don't have work permit, and I just, am lost. And in those moments, I said and asked, and I told God, I'm like, you know what? I give up. I'm not going to worry about me anymore. It's not about me. I've tried to be ambitious. I've tried to, do everything in my life. Just let me do something that makes me happy and that may create even a small difference in someone's life. So I'm here in Terre Haute, Indiana, a very small conservative town, and there is a lot of poverty, there is a lot of hunger, and there is no organization that was working on sustainability. So I was like, okay, I would just start gardening. I would bring these kids to the garden, and just one day at a time, I was just doing it to kind of overcome my depression. And in doing so, when I started working with children in garden, I was always a big gardener. And when kids told me that this is the best day of my life, or I've never seen an onion grow, or I didn't know potatoes grow underground. So when I heard things like that, I'm like, this is it. That this makes me happy and makes me feel that my life is worth living. Before that, I measured my success by, degrees, or, oh, I'm not making any money, so I'm not worth it, or, all the traditional norms that we have for our success. And one thing led to another. And environment, I have realized that that is something I can do without any expectations. Like, there is no expectation of getting anything in return. You do something for someone, and then sooner or later you're like, oh, disappointments or whatever. But once I decided in my mind, I said, God, just make me an instrument of thy peace. I literally said that to myself. And it cured my depression. I've never been upset, I'm never sad, I never made any money doing this. But I feel like I can die peacefully, that I did my part.
Beautiful. What are the challenges that you encounter?
So actually, in the beginning, I was really nervous and really uh, thinking about, oh my God, people are going to hate me, or people are going to not like me. And there may still be, people that may not hear or may not enjoy hearing about it. But I've had mostly positive response, and one thing led to another. Just someone saw me talk about trash on my Facebook page about the environment, then they're like, oh, will you come to Rotary Club and speak about it? And I was like, oh wow, so people really like to hear about it. And then I just kept getting invited to university. We have 3 local universities in town, and classes and professors. So overall, I mean, nobody has ever come to me and said, why are you doing this, or this doesn't make sense, or, I mean, maybe there are people who think like that, but nobody, no, I haven't faced active uh, opposition at any level. I think only people who like this kind of work, I come across them and they're like, oh great, I'm glad you're doing this.
Nice. What keeps you going?
It just makes me really happy. I just, because I don't think of it as a job. It's not something I do to make money. And I'm like, okay, so if I didn't do it, I already have a full-time job that I enjoy. If I didn't do environmental sustainability, or my gardening, or plastic upcycling, or all these things, what would I do? So my options are, I can clean my house more, or I can, you know, sit and watch television, or I can, maybe sleep more. And whenever I think about those things, I'm like, I enjoy this more. I would rather be in the garden, or what really, really makes me keep going is children. I work with a lot of underprivileged children, and these are children whose parents aren't taking care of them, or unable to provide them that kind of guidance environment. And seeing their eyes lit up and seeing a smile on their face is probably the biggest motivation. In general, I could be really tired at home. I'm like, oh my God, I can't do it, anything, and blah, blah, blah. But as soon as I show up in the garden, I start working and I'm all good. I can work for hours. And as soon as I enter home, I'm like, okay, I'm dead. I can't do anything anymore. So I just really enjoy it. And our local media has been so good about it. Our We have 2 television stations, Tribune Star, local newspaper, and everybody has been so supportive. Now, I I struggle with the fact that our school corporation still has styrofoam, our businesses still have plastic and styrofoam. So I'm like, is it really doing anything? So I do, feel bad about those things, but people at least like to hear about it and learn about it, even if not everybody is changing drastically. I mean, I know people come to me and say, oh, I quit using water bottles, or I'm composting now, or I'm doing this because I just keep talking about trash all the time. So there is a little bit, I would like to think that, even if it is a little bit of positive impact. So that makes me feel like, okay, it's worth doing it, and it's just who I am. I don't have to make me do it. It's just, I would have to work hard to stop me from doing it.
You work full time as a pharmacist,
Yeah.
and this is in addition to that, your reThink Inc. How
Yes.
do you juggle both responsibilities?
Yeah. So when I started reThink, like I said, I wasn't working at that time. So I had all the time in the world. And I spent about 5, 6 years doing that. When I was only doing reThink, then I gradually started working part time. So I was mostly doing reThink and working a little bit here and there. And then now, last couple of years, I've been working full time, because my children are very expensive. So I was like, okay, let me, I need money so they can go to college and stuff. And now I have employees, and I have
Congratulations.
yeah, I actually have 5 part-time employees, and I have a really nice, amazing board. So I don't have to physically do all the gardening myself or maintaining the store and all that. I do have to do the brainstorming and managing and, keeping track of everything. And what I do mostly now is education and fundraising, but I do have a lot of help now.
Okay.
So I
Okay.
gradually moved to my job as I was having more help at reThink.
Now, tell us exactly what reThink stands for and all the different aspects of what it does.
Yeah. So reThink is a nonprofit organization, and we have 3 big projects. The overarching mission is to create a cleaner, greener, and healthier Wabash Valley, which is the where we live, by empowering our community to reduce waste. So that includes education, awareness, and providing solutions. And we have 3 big projects. One is community gardens. We have 4 community gardens now in underprivileged neighborhoods. That's our way to engage with the community. And then we have a zero waste store, which is a little store where uh, we have all the merchandise, plastic replacements, alternatives. And then we have a plastic upcycling workspace, which is, I have ideas, but like I said, as reThink was developing, I started having like minded people come to me. They either wanted to be board members or, in some part, be a part of it. That's the plastic upcycling part, the machine room, which I don't do anything, but we have an engineering school here, Rosehalman Engineering, and one of the professors there, she collaborated. She was excited to hear about the project, and then she was really instrumental in sourcing machines and getting writing grants for machines, and she's the one who operates that room. So those are the 3 big things that we do through reThink.
Sounds sounds great, Shika. Sounds great. You have come so far. in
It,
what
it
you wanted to
yeah.
do?
It is a lot of fun, and I'm always evolving. I'm always growing, learning. It really has made me very comfortable in my community and makes me feel home. A lot of people know me now. I know a lot of people. So coming from India and then coming to Indiana, it's hard when you leave your family behind and your culture behind, and you're in a different place altogether. But doing this uh, makes me more part of my community, and uh, closer connections in the community, my friendships, and um, everything. I don't I think reTHink does more to me, to my emotional health, my mental health, than I do for reTHink. Even though, I work hard, I work all day long, but it keeps me happy. I mean, I don't have to worry about going on vacation to make me happy. I can just go to the garden and make me happy.
What has the response been like to reTHink?
I sometimes struggle when it comes to money. It feels a little challenging. The local government, right now, we have a very supportive government. In the beginning, our mayor, we've had a change. So no one tells me anything bad, or, don't do it, or this is, not right, or whatever. But I can sometimes feel a little bit of resistance in terms of funding. It's harder to get funding than some other organizations. So, for example, I try to get fundraising for my community gardens, and my goal is to empower people to grow your food, to cook your food, and eat. And I see that a lot of our mindset is still that food pantries or soup kitchens, or feeding the hungry by just directly giving them food, may still be more exciting to certain people, like makes them feel better. So it's a struggle to get funding to for the cause of reducing trash. Like, it's just, an organization, all they do is talk about trash and reduce trash. And I mean, it's not very not heard of, uh, but we get enough support to survive, I guess. We have a building, we purchased a building, it's almost paid off, and we have 5 part-time employees, so we survive.
If someone would like to help or contribute, how should they go about doing it?
So the first help that anyone can do is let go of some of the plastic. So if you're using plastic water bottles, consider getting a water filter. If you're using shampoo, use a shampoo bar, which we have a production facility. We make our shampoo bars, which is really amazing. Has beer for your hair, and all the good stuff. And we have a vegan variety too. We have one that has goat's milk and beer and egg, but we also have a vegan variety with apple cider vinegar. So if you want to help me meet the mission of the organization, which is reduce waste, I would say, let's talk about letting go of some of the stuff, print less, or how about paper towels? There are so many things that we don't have to use, but we get used to using. And then other than that, I mean, we always accept donations. That keeps us going and growing. uh, yeah.
So, for those who would like to donate, how can they reach out to you or your organization?
Yeah, our website, wabashrethinks.com, there is a donation link. There is a link to contact me. It's just wabashrethinks.com. And
That is included in the description attached to this post, viewers. So you can find the link there and reach out to Shikha. And as I know you mentioned a few things that we can do as ordinary citizens and ordinary people. What else can we do to reduce waste?
so earlier, in when I started doing this, I was thinking of ways, okay, what are the easiest things to let go? And I came up with this change acronym, CHANGE. So C for carry your water bottle,
Okay.
because we waste at least 3 liters of clean water in filling 1 liter of water bottle. Because if you think about it, we are extracting fossil fuel, turning it into polymer, turning it into plastic, then filling, then transporting around the world. So we are creating a lot of pollution in doing
Yeah.
so, dirtying water. So C for carry your water bottle. H for hesitate to use styrofoam. I don't know how it is in Switzerland. There is a lot of styrofoam usage, especially here in Indiana. Then A for avoid grocery bags. Again, I don't know. There may be different laws in Switzerland. I know
No,
some.
I can, from what I've seen, it's all paper cups. I don't think I've seen styrofoam. And yeah, I think they
Grocery
are
bags.
pretty conscious about reducing waste here.
How about plastic grocery bags?
No, you have to buy if you don't have a bag to carry your groceries, you buy a paper bag,
Okay,
not
perfect.
a plastic grocery bag.
Yeah, that's awesome. So here in Indiana, you will find a lot of grocery bags. So avoid grocery bags. N, say no to straw. G, grab your silverware, which I find challenging for people. But what I try to do is I keep some spoons, forks in my car, in my purse. So if I show up somewhere where they're using plastic, I'm still able to use my silverware, which again, I've heard that France has banned a lot of single use plastics. When I go to Spain, I don't see as many plastic spoons. Even at the airport and flights, I've experienced real stainless steel silverware or compostables. So CHANG, grab your silverware, and E, eliminate K cups, which is also a really big thing here in the United States. You know, those Keurig single use coffee cups, and we use throw away enough every single year to wrap the earth around more than 10 times.
Oh gosh.
How is it in Switzerland? Do you have those little K cups?
No, but I see lots of instant coffee being sold in similar cups.
Okay, okay. Yeah, so those are plastic, single use, you throw away.
Not plastic. They look like paper cups to me. I don't consume them, so I'm not very sure, but they look like paper cups to me.
Okay, okay. So paper, I mean, material technology, uh, is there a machine, Keurig kind of machine
One
where
thing I
they
can
store?
tell you for sure is that they are very strict about recycling plastic.
Mm-hmm.
Their products are categorized, and it's very easy for people to recycle. They know what to recycle, and whether it's paper or plastic or glass. They are very strict about that. Very prudent measures.
Yeah, which is great. I see that in Barcelona as well, and a lot of places in India as well. Indiana is a little bit behind in that. But here is the thing about recycling. I don't know if you've ever thought about it or not. the process of recycling is also extremely polluting.
Aha.
So, when it comes to recycling paper, cardboard, metal, glass, I'm all for it. But plastic recycling
Yeah.
has its own challenges. So I read a book few years ago. In China, there were a lot of plastic industries. It was cheap material. They were actually paying to buy trash from Europe, from the United States, and all that. But then within 10, 15 years, they found out that where those plastic recycling companies were, the water got really polluted, the air got really polluted, the whole towns became like literally a lot of people have illnesses and cancers and lung disease. So they started closing those plastic recycling industries, and few years ago China quit taking plastic for
Aha.
recycling. And a lot of it also was ending up in the ocean on their way to
Oh, yes.
transportation. And Malaysia and Singapore and
Indonesia.
Indonesia, even in India, I mean, I can't believe as busy as, already polluted India is, trash even makes their, European and American trash makes its way to India, and in the name of recycling. So I'm not really all about plastic recycling. Plastic recycling is downcycling, means the product you get is of a lower quality. It's not the same quality, and you cannot indefinitely recycle. You
Yeah.
can recycle once or twice. I don't know exactly how many times, depending on what it is. So the perfect example of recycling is food waste, composting. That's recycling. That's nature's way to recycle. Glass, you can indefinitely recycle. You can recycle metal, but plastic, the whole process is very polluting. So if you work in a plastic recycling company, and that becomes a social justice issue,
Yeah.
that uh, these companies are put in places where people are already suffering at disadvantaged communities, and people who end up working in these companies are people who are desperately in need of jobs, right? And then they end up having health issues. So there is a place in the United States called Cancer Belt. It's, on the river, and that's where all the fossil fuel companies and plastic making companies are.
Oh,
So my problem with plastic is not when it becomes trash. That's just, part of the puzzle. Plastic created problem when it was being made. It already created pollution, and then we use it, and when we are using it, it's leaching chemicals in our food, carcinogens, hormone disruptors, neuro disruptors. And then when we throw away, it's choking up oceans. And in the history of plastic, uh, the estimates are that only 9% has ever been recycled globally. 9%, that's not a lot. And
yes.
then, even if we are recycling, we are releasing more toxins into the environment. So recycling was promoted by companies like Pepsi and Coke in 1970s, 80s, as a way to transfer their responsibility onto the consumer. Because if you are using a plastic bottle, now you are guilty if you don't recycle. But in reality, not all plastic is even recyclable.
Yes.
So I think plastic recycling is a big myth. It's a way of greenwashing and a way of companies to transfer responsibility. And overall, it's just more work. It's just a lot of work. We are shipping materials around the globe. I promote zero waste because I'm like, okay, so if I use my shampoo bottle, I have to wash it, take it to the recycling, and then hope that it will be recycled. What if I use a product that I don't have to worry about recycling?
Makes sense. Makes sense. And it's really, really interesting, your perspective and your take. And it's true, plastic, whether you recycle it or not, it continues to destroy. As long as it prevails, it continues to destroy the planet bit by bit. Extremely harmful.
And it stays forever. So I've read things like if Queen Elizabeth was to use a plastic straw in her coronation ceremony, it would still be there. I mean, it stays in some form or the other. When food decomposes, it turns into dirt, and that's it, right? Nutrients go back to soil in their basic form. But plastic, even when it decomposes, it's just turning into microplastics. It's just turning into different form of toxin.
And a
So
lot of that microplastic is found in the food that we consume.
yeah, it's in salt. um, where does salt come from?
The ocean.
And actually, plastic chemicals have been found in the blood of unborn babies,
Yeah.
in fetus. Yeah. So that's the biggest challenge, is to change the mindset of people from recycling to reducing. Because as soon as you start talking about plastic, they're like, oh, I recycle. Oh, let's recycle more. And I'm like, no, it's not. I mean, recycling is better than not doing anything, but that's not the best thing.
How do you think people can be encouraged to reduce and not recycle?
That's $1 million question that I'm trying to find the answer. If I knew, I would be doing that.
How would you like, in an ideal world, in an ideal situation, how would you like people to reduce instead of recycle?
I mean, the good news is that there is technology available. There are alternatives for pretty much everything. Um, there is a Right now it's a little bit challenging. You have to do your own research. That okay, how what do I change my toothpaste into? Everything is in plastic right now. You have to think about your lotion, you have to think about your cream, you have to think about your lipstick, you have to think about your shampoo, your dish soap, your laundry soap. Everything is in plastic. So there are two ways, and it has to be from both. One is from consumer, that if all of us bought products that are not in plastic, and that's what my store does, the zero waste store, and that's not the only place that does that. There are a lot of online shops. I mean, it's a little bit challenging, but there are products available, so refillable, reusable, compostable. So from consumers, that's what we need to be doing. But then even more important is that companies switch their packaging to all compostable. What's
Absolutely. I think the real difference or significant difference has to come from initiatives by the companies.
Yeah. And that would only happen when we, people, put pressure. So we have buying power, right? Think about it. If most of us quit buying a product that would tell the company that they have to change. But we, most of us, we get lost in our own conveniences, or brain we are literally brainwashed. Like, we walk like zombies, we don't think as much, and we are influenced all these television advertisements that, oh, this product is good for me, I need to use this, right? So corporate will, which also the government has to do their part. Right now it's all messed up, that government gets funded, people who are politicians, they get money from these corporations. So when I become the leader, I can't just say, oh, this has to stop, you can't pack your product in plastic, because then it hits my bottom line, right? And our world runs on money, and for some reason we've put more value on money than our own survivability, or health of our children, partly because we don't know. Some people just don't have an idea how bad it is, and partly because human beings are very short-sighted. We are just very, you know, selfish in many ways. We only think about, our own short term goals. So I think what has to happen is we all have to get educated. We all have to get out of our comfort zone and accept a little bit of inconvenience for the sake of our own future. And then corporations have to change, and the government has to do its part. But individual changes, these are the questions that I struggle with every day. I'm like, okay, how can we change all this? And I'm not the only person, but hopefully collectively we all can do little something. So right now what I've realized that my new project is, I already have a little group of children in our town, Earthlings, and for this year, Earth Day, I'm organizing this Speak Off contest where children have to talk about plastic pollution. So I have over 50 children who participated. And as I was working with these children, I was like, this is it. If we could have an army of children, a group in every town, and technology is bad, but it's also good that it makes it possible. You are sitting in Switzerland, I'm sitting here in Indiana, and we can still uh, communicate, we can still have a conversation and collaborate and do it together. So my goal is to create this activism all over the world, in every town. And I've started gathering these kids who either are already doing this kind of stuff, so we just all have to combine, and maybe, something will happen.
I believe something will happen. And I was about to ask you this question. How strong an impact do you think children, educating children, can have on reducing waste?
I think that's the key. That's the key, because when you are an adult, you have a job, you're trying to make money, and everybody's just trying to, oh, I have to feed my children, I'm not going to worry about recycling, or, it's just easy. But children don't have that.
Yeah.
So, and before they become adults, it's time to imbibe those values in them, that and the information that, it's really bad for you. It has toxins, it has carcinogens. And what I find really fascinating, Mira, as I was working with children, is I go in there thinking that I'm going to teach them something, and then a lot of times they're like, yeah, I know how bad it is, we should just not do it. So I'm like, before they enter the workforce, before they start worrying about making money, that's when we have to gather them and create a generation of people who uh, who are not only informed but also empowered to live a life that is not dependent on plastic.
Very, very powerful vision. And to add to this, to add to what you've just said about children, what is your vision for rethink, say, in the next 5 years?
Huh. I think that if we were to become financially sustainable, that's how I would like to see the organization. And for organization to be able to hire a full-time executive director, someone like a full regular staff, and just be sustainable and be able to do, we already do everything, but right now it's like struggle. It's, me waking up at 5 o'clock, or running around like crazy. In 5 years I would like for the organization, one, to not be dependent on me, that, if I was to move out or if something was to happen to me, uh, right now it depends a lot on me. So I would like for the organization to be sustainable in that aspect, and also financially, so that the organization is able to operate, it's just not someone's passion project, it's a regular
It's a
organization that,
commitment.
yeah, yeah.
Okay, beautiful, beautiful and powerful vision. I think this would be an excellent time to watch the clip that you'd like to share with us. What do you think?
Sure.
Would you like to say something about the clip, to introduce the clip before we watch it?
No,
What's it about?
it's it's just, my everyday life in rethink. What I do, I try to put together, but I do want to, oh, my background is blurred, I'll put a
No,
link.
you can adjust it. You can adjust it. Bring it closer. Uh-oh.
Yeah,
Okay, environment.
yeah, it's okay.
Okay, why don't you just tell us the environment?
Well,
The title, sorry.
yeah, it's the book that I recently published, My Environment. And it has a lot of, what I talk about, but in a way that children can enjoy and be empowered. So it's an activity book. I didn't want to write a boring book for adults, or, give lectures. I wanted to do something engaging for children. So I would just say, if you have a chance, just let me know if you have any young people who may enjoy the book.
Okay, how does one purchase this book?
So it's on my website, busy
Okay,
Dr. B. Yeah,
which
busy
is, which
Dr.
you have
B.
already shared with us in the
Yeah,
description. Okay.
yeah,
So as long as they go to the website, they should be able to purchase it.
yeah.
Excellent. Right. Shall we take a look at the clip now?
Sure.
Okay.
All garbage.
Let's start again.
Do you want to hear a joke about trash? Never mind, it's all garbage. Did you know that the Great Garbage Patch in the Pacific Ocean is already twice the size of Texas? But what does that have to do with you or your health? Hi, my name is Dr. Shikha Bhattacharyya, and I talk trash. Trash impacts not only wildlife and the environment, but also your health. As a pharmacist and researcher, I've learned how we can be a lot healthier by reducing different kinds of waste and pollution. My passion is to empower people to live a cleaner, greener, and healthier life. In doing so, we also leave a livable world behind because we are borrowing this earth from our children. I founded reTHink that operates 4 community gardens, a zero waste store, and a plastic upcycling workspace to help my community. My goal is to spread this message worldwide and help communities eliminate their waste and pollution. I'm available to talk to your group and give them the tools to take action. I can also organize workshops to demonstrate how easy it can be to make some of your everyday essentials and even save money. Small things can make a big difference. Let me know how I can help you meet your goals of creating a cleaner, greener, and a healthier world.
Is that the end?
That is for the video.
Okay. Okay. I love that. I really love that. And I like the very catchy phrase, trash talk lady. Tell us more about that. Trash talk lady. Why trash talk?
Because,
Usually that would have a negative connotation, right?
yeah, but that's what I just do. I talk about trash. So my people in the community, they started calling me like trash lady or trash talk. And I was like, oh, that makes sense. I
I
talk trash, but the real trash, not trash about people. You know what I mean?
Of course, of course. That's very clear. It's very evident from what you've just told us and what we have seen. How does it feel, Shika, at this point in your career journey? I know you've said it's your hobby, but sounds like it's a full-time commitment to reduce waste and the work never ends. So how does it feel at this point when you reflect on your career and talk about how far you have come? How does it make you feel?
Like I said, it's just who I am. And because it's not my job, I don't get, burnt out. It actually gives me energy. And the fact that I'm now combining my passion with my training in health, and I'm at just the beginning of my health and sustainability coach, and the fact that I can combine them and help people is really very exciting. I feel very blessed to be able to do it. When as moms, I used to read these quotes. Oh, instead of saying you have to do it, you get to do it, right? So that's how I feel. I feel really blessed that I'm healthy enough, at least right now, and I have the means. I don't have to do it for my earning. I'm just so blessed that I can do it. I get to do it. And if I can combine it and be, maybe you can help me, coach me to be a health and sustainability coach. And if I can create a bigger impact and work with corporations, it can only get better from here.
I'm sure. I'm sure it will only get better from here. And the amazing work that you do with these children and the programs and outdoor activities. It is so inspiring.
Thank you.
We wish you all the best, Shika,
Thank
and
you so much. Thank
it can
you.
only go forward from here. There is no going back.
No.
What would you like to tell our viewers before we close?
I There is this kid, Cash Daniels. He's an activist. He's cleaning up rivers. And I would say what he says all the time. He says that kids could be a small population of the world now, but they are 100% of the future. So, for our future, for our children, you really have to think about your actions. You may think that you're just one person and what you do doesn't matter, but actually, it matters more than what you can ever imagine. And whether or not you want to, whether or not you think about it, you're always changing the world. So why not change it for better?
Beautiful, Shika. And for those aspiring young environmentalists, how would you tell them to own their career?
See, to me, career comes later, your health comes first. You can make a career out of anything. We as a society, when we are children, parents are like, okay, what do you want to become when you grow up, right? That's And you're in high school and you're like, okay, do you want to be an engineer? What do you want to be, right? So I somewhere came across this question, and I changed the question that I ask my children and any children I meet. Don't worry about what you want to become. My question to you is, how do you want to change the world? And let that guide you. So once you decide that, if your mom has some kind of illness, or you have some kind of challenge, or all the innovations have been created because there was a problem. So in developing that solution, it became a person's career or job, or that's how you're making money now. So I would say, don't worry about your career. Figure out what you love to do, and when you do that, you can make money. Money will come to you. And Mira, like talking to you previously, that's, I guess, your career is guided, that you enjoy doing it. Because unless you enjoy doing it, unless you figure out what it is that you love doing, job will only be a job, and you will never be happy, and you will come home and you will always be trying to figure out ways to make you happy. So to young people, I would just say, don't worry about your career. Figure out what you want to change in the world. How do you want your world to be? And just pursue that. And in pursuing that, you will make a lot of money. And if you don't make a lot of money, you will at least be happy, and healthy, which is the ultimate goal of life, to be happy and healthy.
You're so right, Shika. It's not you want the money because you think it will make you happy and you can have or live the lifestyle that you want. Yes, money is important, but your ultimate goal, like what you said, is to be happy and be healthy.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
And if you
beautiful.
can do that, if you can grow your food, if you know how to cook your food, I know so many people in their 40s having heart attacks. and they have good degrees, and they make good money, but if you don't know how to take care of your health, if you don't know how to be happy, I mean, I know we do need to make money, but that should not be the primary goal. The primary goal should be, okay, what do I like to do, what do I enjoy doing, and let that guide me to do something that will also make me money.
I love that. I really love that. Shika, it's been a pleasure. It's been such a pleasure chatting with you, hearing your perspectives, your take on plastic, on political issues, corporate will, so many stuff, so many things to reflect on. And I am sure our viewers who are watching now and those who are going to watch the recorded version, they're going to enjoy this. A lot of food for thought, whether they grow it or not, a lot of food for thought.
Rethink.
Oh, yes. Is that how the name Rethink came about?
Yep.
Okay, rethink and reframe your perspective of food and waste and plastic. I love it.
But it was a pleasure. Thank you so much for giving me this platform and opportunity to talk.
You're very welcome, Shika. The pleasure is mine, and the pleasure is our viewers.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, thank you again. And viewers, we'll see you in the next session of Career Conversations soon. Bye.
Bye.